I always associated mountains with big dreams and think that every person has climbed one's own mountain. 2 years ago, my aunt invited me on a hiking tour that took place in Giorgi, the region near Gazbegin. The main reason we went there and stayed for 8 days was that we were preparing for climbing on one of the highest mountains in Georgia, Mount Gazbegi, the Mqinwarzweri. It was very challenging, very hard, and seemed a bit risky as well. We did there different kind of activities, which were aimed on our physical, mental preparation. During the preparation period, I discovered that none of 15 years old teenagers had climbed on before. So, I got motivation to be one of the first who would do that. As well, it was a big deal. We had an extra 4 days for climbing there. Everything went great. I had such an enthusiasm. I believed I could everything, and I felt proud. Maybe I could be the first 15 years old teenager who climbed on top on 5,033 meters high on the mountain. On the first day happened a very strange thing. It was raining up there. It was a little bit shock for all of us. Dramatically, some of the people decided to give up, but I had an aim. I had already visualized how I was standing on the top of it and holding Georgian flag. I was motivated and prepared. My aunt and I were sure that the second day would be better and we would do it. But unfortunately, the second one was worse. My emotions and fears were such realistic and dramatic that once I thought to give it up, but I knew if I would do that, I would never forgive myself. Fortunately, my group stayed and tried our best on the third day. In about 20 minutes after we started our way, started blizzard. It was such an awful and disgusting feeling when everything was against us. I was full of negative emotions, but the situation went like we had to go back on the starting point. Therefore, it was impossible to go in such an awful weather. I was exhausted, physically, mentally, and was thinking after these 3 days of waiting, the weather was still awful, and there was just a little hope for it to become better. Naturally, while discussing this issue, our guide offered us to give it up and finish our trip. But we were so prepared and had such a goal, we refused to give up. And this was one of the biggest decisions of mine. On the fourth day, suddenly the weather calmed down. Everything went great, and we reached the top of the mountain. It was a big experience, and big mental combat for all of us, especially for me, and big lesson. I became maybe the first person, 15 years old teenager, as we discovered, who climbed up on it. I learned that if person has a goal, he or she have to do everything, do not break mentally, and achieve its own goal.